When it came to you doing the podcast of How to Founder, tell me about your vision.
Well,
What was
so How to Founder is with me and my friend, my buddy Chris Franks, and Chris and I are pretty active in the entrepreneurial community, especially here in Colorado.
yeah.
And we're always volunteering our time and running meetups and events and in-person things. And we want to help entrepreneurs, whatever that means. We want to serve entrepreneurs. I believe entrepreneurship is the master key to prosperity, and I want to help those entrepreneurs along the journey. And so we started How to Founder because one of the things that is missing with entrepreneurial content and books is it's very inspirational and very little tactics. So How to Founder is about the tactics of being an entrepreneur. Like, what do you do when an employee is stealing from you? How do you create a vision statement? What should you do? What does social media strategy look like? Like, every episode is a deep dive into, think of it as a founder reference manual that we'll eventually one day write. But that's what the podcast is. It's the tactics. It's the practical advice on a specific topic.
I'm going to ask you one more question. How did you get started?
In the podcast, or just as an entrepreneur?
All of it. Give it to me.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur because I can't hold a job otherwise. I'm a terrible employee. So I started becoming an entrepreneur by doing graphic design for a Mexican T-shirt company as a contractor. So I made T-shirt designs for a silk screening company, and just kind of fell in love with working on my own. And then started building companies and partnering, et cetera. The podcast was just a result of Chris and I wanting to. Essentially, I want to work with founders for the rest of my life. It's selfish. Like, I just love working with entrepreneurs and founders. And so this is our first step into maybe making a business out of helping founders progress along their businesses.
Yeah, I get that. And if I'm not mistaken, you have had multiple businesses with successful exit plans, allowing you to continue to be a founder and an entrepreneur. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've started 7 companies, sold 6 of them. 2 I sold to public companies, and yeah, I love the launch. I love the exit. The middle part, not so much, but the in between stuff is the hard stuff. But the launch and exit, I absolutely love.
When you stated, being a founder, being an entrepreneur, there is a lot of cost to it. So what I want to talk about is the startup cost. What are some hidden costs founders or entrepreneurs should be prepared for when starting a business?
Well, so if you're talking like hard, like dollars, you can start a business and not put any money up front. A lot of services businesses start with no risk. And if you're just starting as an entrepreneur, I highly recommend starting as a services business. Go, do car wash, create a car detailing service or a window cleaning service, something that you can do, if you're younger, something that you can do without having to put any money up front. But there's personal costs that I think what you're really talking about, and the personal costs are, I think the most common thing that entrepreneurs don't recognize is the cost to your ego.
Yeah.
So you have to have no shame when you get into a startup. You have to be willing to look foolish. So there is a reputational cost, especially when you're starting out, because you have to be willing to go and talk to people and sell. You have to be willing to fail a lot. Even if you're in it for 20 years, you have that willingness to fail and look foolish. I would say is the most under recognized cost of being an entrepreneur is just being wrong a lot is hard on your ego.
Mhm. Yeah, and you could say that. I'm sitting here like, "Ooh, tell it," because yes, it's definitely an ego thing. I'm just gonna share. I hate being told no. Hate being told no. I don't know if I've ever not ever put myself in the position of being told no when I was younger, but right now I'm like, oh, that's a word that I really don't like. It could either make you or break you, pushing you forward to understand why. Um, I think that you're onto something when it comes to saying, "Don't do it," but then when you do, these are the tactics. So what would you tell an entrepreneur first? Like, "Hey, if this is something that you really wanna do and you're okay with all these things, where do they start?"
You start with trying to prove yourself your idea wrong. So
Mm, tell
so
me
for
more.
you, it'd be go look for that no and find out why they're saying no, and do that a lot. So talk to before you start the business, before you get a company logo. And by the way, I make this mistake all the time. The first thing I do when I have an idea is I go make a logo. So I can have in my head an identity. That's the wrong way to do it. The best thing that you can do is go out and talk to your customers,
Okay.
build a website, go to, web, I use Strikingly, but there's a bunch, thinking of different, put up a really simple website, and that you can send people to and see if you can get traction before you spend any money. Before you start the business, go figure out where your idea is wrong.
Okay.
It's best to do it in person. So go knock on doors, go to a trade show, and just start talking to the exhibitors and the people there and try to figure out where you are wrong and modify it until you feel like you've got an idea you can sell.
Mhm.
That's when you start, is when you think, okay, I can get money for the thing that I'm doing. That's when you can actually start the business.
And that's interesting you say that because as social media and everything just blows up all these ideas, I believe that there are entrepreneurs that become entrepreneurs based off of what they see and not really what they know. Have you met anyone that's like, you know what, I seen somebody do this, I can do this. And then how do you go about having that conversation?
Yeah, so you're dead on with that. If you're going into it to make money, chase the vision, not the money, right? To your podcast, chase the vision, not the money. The money will end up following you.
Yeah.
So you have to have a passion for what you're doing to start a business. If it's not something that you would do for free, essentially,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you're not going to have the grit, the perseverance to work through the hard times, because it's not fun.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing something that you enjoy, if you're doing it because somebody else is making money at it, and that's the reason, you're going to fail. It's that simple. It's too hard to do it just for the money.
And I tell you, I think I see that a lot. And not saying that I've had a guest on here that, that is doing that. It's just when you're on social media and you're watching all these people birth up these ideas that don't seem like their vision, right? It just seems like an idea that someone else brought to them. Could that be the reason why 90% of entrepreneurships businesses fail?
Yeah, a great reason. A great reason why companies fail is because the founder loses steam. It's
Mm,
just too. It's just too hard. So, and I want to take a step back because what I said just before is not necessarily true for everybody.
yes.
If you want to go out, so I first said go out and start a services business, right? Go do window washing,
Yeah.
and that probably isn't your passion. Your passion. So the reason why I said that is because entrepreneurship is a craft.
Mhm.
And if you're just starting out, go fall in love with being an entrepreneur. It doesn't have to be the business that you're in today, because you're going to have 10 businesses that you're going to do.
Yeah.
So first, fall in love with the craft and understanding of being an entrepreneur. How do you run your books? How do you sell to customers? How do you actually provide service? What do you do with employees? Like all of those things, the entrepreneurship itself can be a passion.
Yeah.
But when you want to take that swing for the fences, it's got to be something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So I diverted off of the question you just asked. I apologize, but I thought that was important to bring up.
No worries. No worries. And that's okay because, this is about vision, of course, because we're Vision Pros Live and everyone does have a vision, but sometimes, well, majority of people have a vision when it comes to starting a business. But even if you don't, like you said, I've never actually heard anyone say you can be passionate about being an entrepreneur, which often sometimes makes serial entrepreneurs very successful because they know how to start up, go through the middle, and exit, and they can continue to do that. And if I may ask, Anthony, is that something of what you've done is created this path that allows you to start businesses and then have great exit strategies and continue on?
Yeah, my hobby is entrepreneurship. Like that's I don't play golf. I don't go tennis. I don't have I don't do wood carving. Like I wish I did. It'd make me seem more balanced. But truly, my hobby and my passion is entrepreneurship itself and helping other founders. So um, it's a little bit, and I think most serial entrepreneurs are like that. They enjoy the game. And it
Mm.
is a game. They enjoy the game of being a founder and serving their employees and customers. They just love it.
What's your why?
To help entrepreneurs. It's that simple. My why is
That's
really easy.
and you wake up excited about it every morning, right?
No,
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 why? Why not?
no, no. You can't. Life happens. So there's oftentimes where what am I doing? That's normal. Like that being in this and doing this, it is a roller coaster, and you have to just kind of set yourself up to understand that and when you're in a dip, know that there's going to be a when you're in a valley, there's going to be a peak as well. So just kind of get used to the ride.
That is so funny. What was your most significant learning experiences?
Oh gosh. I I think the most significant piece of information I received was when I read a really small book. It's a really I recommend this to everybody. It's called Strengths Finder.
Mm.
And essentially what I used to feel like I needed to work on all of my weaknesses. Like because I was not strong in one area, I needed to go work and lean into that and become better at the thing that I didn't like to do or was not good at.
Mm.
And what I did, once you read this book, there's kind of a little test that tells you what you're strong in.
Yeah.
And it also says, and so go find other people that are strong where you're weak and partner up with them and not be apologetic for where you're weak. Say, the reason why I need you is because I'm weak here and you're strong here.
Mm-hmm.
And so attracting people and setting the people up that you're working with, that this is why I need you to be a partner with me, is because I'm weak here, you're strong here.
Yeah.
Was incredibly liberating. It allowed me to go do the things that I'm great at and enable other people to do the things that they're great at and make really great teams from those balancing acts of strengths and weaknesses.
Anthony, I really like that you said that because I believe I was actually on social media and I seen this, of course, this reel, and this man had this ginormous hat on, right? And he said, that's the hat that entrepreneurs wear. and it's all hats. I mean, it should cover everything. And
That's true.
we believe that, you know, becoming an entrepreneur and having a vision is usually something we do alone. But you saying to go out there and find someone that is strong in the areas that you're weak, meaning you don't have to wear the hat, you know, all by yourself. So it's very interesting. But when someone starts a business, when is the time to say, hey, I need to find somebody else?
That is that's a very, like, the answer. It's the same answer for anything entrepreneurial. It depends.
Okay.
Uh, it depends. So if you're entering, some founders will look for a co-founder right away. For example, if I'm really strong in sales and I'm really weak in technology, I'm going to go find somebody that's strong in technology. Really hard to do, by the way, but that's kind of what you would do when you're starting. It's like, I can sell into this vertical. I have a solution I need built. I'm going to go find a co-founder. Or vice versa. If you're a strong CTO and you need somebody that can market and sell, then go find a co-founder. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that decide, I'm gonna try and do it all up front. And even the things that I'm not great at, I'm gonna learn how to do them. So I can cover all bases if I need to. I think that's also a very practical way of starting a business. Not trying to find a co-founder, but trying to get good at everything so that you know who to hire or bring on as you're going through the business. Like this, I know that this is where I'm weak, and I know that I need somebody that can, but you also have an understanding of what it takes to be successful in that area, so it helps you bring on the right co-founder.
Yeah.
I think when you feel you can't get to the next level by yourself, and with just going out and having coffee with people that are good at what you're weak at, once you get to the point where it's like, I need somebody to kind of lean into this full time, that's a really good time to go find somebody that can help balance you out.
Understand that definitely helps me, and I'm sure the audience, to understand that that you don't necessarily have to do it alone, but there are steps that you could take when wanting to have help or find a co-founder. I never even thought about, you know, the fact that yes, entrepreneurs are founders, and then you can immediately begin to have a co-founder to actually build a business and possibly become a lot stronger in both areas.
Yep. There's actually accelerators that have that as a thesis, that they don't invest in or let anybody a part of their acceleration program unless you have the thought that you need a co-founder. Wow. They invest in teams of 2 or more, not individual single lone wolves.
And I think that makes all the sense in the world, especially if you know that that's what you want to do. Before we head out, I do want to ask, what tips do you have for entrepreneurs and or founders?
So for founders, there's a difference for me. So founders are people that are individuals that are doing it. They're in a business now and they're running it. Entrepreneurs, I feel, are a little bit more before they jump into a business. They're thinking about a business. They're in a startup that it doesn't have revenue. Okay. And that's just my classification. That's probably not the dictionary definition of it. So tips for entrepreneurs is just start. Take the first step. Well, first of all, don't do it. Stay away from it. Run. Go live a normal life. The second one is, now that you've ignored me, just take the first step. Over planning, your plan will fail. Whatever you think is going to be your business in 6 months, you are wrong. So just be comfortable with being wrong and take the first step, and know that you're going to have to readjust constantly along the way. For founders, look, I know it's lonely. And go find other founders to talk to. Be a part of a peer group. Go to meetups. Go find other founders in person in your area. There's something so enabling and so fulfilling about being around other batshit crazy people like you that are going through not the same problems, but having the similar struggles that you do as a founder. So it's inherently lonely. So make it less so by finding other founders that you can talk to.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.